The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of ACUMA, its board of directors, its management staff, or its members. The podcast discussion presented is conversational in nature and for general information only.
Hello and welcome to ACUMA's On Point Podcast, a series focused on sharing the stories of people who are making a positive impact in the credit union mortgage industry. I'm your host, Peter Benjamin. Today, I have two very special guests. I have Tran, AVP of Mortgage Underwriting with WEOKIE Federal Credit Union, and Tim Cox, Director of Neighborhood Funding with Neighborhood Housing Services of Oklahoma. Lee, Tim, how y'all doing today?
Doing great, Peter.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you, Peter.
Awesome. Hey guys, I appreciate you guys being here. Before we go down the rabbit hole that we're about to jump in, let's take a pause. I'm gonna bring in Krista, who's gonna give us an awesome update on everything at ACUMA. Krista, how you doing? Tell us what's the latest and greatest over at ACUMA.
Hey, Peter. Well, I think you just woke me up from my month-long nap. We just came off of annual conference about a month ago, and I just was thinking about this morning, and I was trying to figure out like a word to describe it that isn't like amazing or whatever. And it doesn't sound like that's not enough. So then what I thought of was that this conference that we just held in DC a month ago, it was like the energy and momentum was like everybody was levitating like a foot off the ground. You know what I mean? Like it was just amazing. And the energy there was crazy. And so we are just still, gliding into the winter with that energy and really getting focused on 2024. For everybody who's listening, please stay tuned to our LinkedIn updates, acuma.org website. We do have our workshops already scheduled for 2024. May will be Nashville. June will be Denver. Our regional summits are coming back around also this coming in 2024. We have Phoenix in March and Orlando in April. So just be sure to keep an eye on all of our announcements on LinkedIn and acuma.org, just so you can get those dates on your calendars for your 2024 travel. And of course, our virtual education and our YPN network continues all year. So please keep an eye on our inside tracks that we have coming up in December. We have one more YPN meeting in December as well. So it doesn't stop, does it, Peter?
No. There's no rest for the weary. We keep moving forward. We went into Zombie Week, the week following annual, and then we came out of our slumber, our hibernation, and started moving forward. So it's awesome. And
it is.
A couple things. At this year's annual conference, best one yet.
Absolutely.
Hands down. But two, really excited for next year. I love every single one of the locations that we're going to be at. It doesn't matter if it's, Nashville, Denver, Orlando, Phoenix, or Vegas. All fantastic locations, great venues. Really looking forward to it. So thank you very much for sharing that update. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, Lee, Tim,
yes.
It's been about a month since I last saw you. Just over a month, and to kind of be more exact. But I loved your session at our annual conference. It resonated with a lot of our members. I'm gonna say it was one of the highlights of this year's event. And so one, I want to thank you for being part of this year's event and sharing your passion for affordable housing. Just hearing the feedback from the people who attended your session, they were moved. And so I think, that's one of the reasons why we want to bring you on this podcast, because during your presentation, during your session, you shared your story, you shared the journey of how the two of you came together and really started focusing on the affordable housing issue that we have, and sharing the stories of the families that you've helped along the way. From what I've heard, there were tears shed in your session, and so I wanted to dive in more and really learn more about the two of you. which is why we have you on the podcast today. And I think that, the three of us, really the four of us, and I'm sorry I excluded you, Chris, but the four of us, I think can all agree, we love credit unions, right? We have an undying passion for credit unions. And Tim, and I'm going to start with you, if that's okay. In our we'll say pre-podcast, exchange of ideas, you shared your history, your passion for credit unions. So do me a favor, let's dive into that first, and then Lee, I'm going to come to you as well. So Tim, share your passion, share why you love credit unions, if you could.
Oh, absolutely. Well, credit unions, just their DNA is relationship oriented. If you look, I know that we keep talking about tech, and tech is good, but the technology that's out there is meant to deal with humans, and you're still dealing with humans. And that's where credit unions shine and should be very, very proactive in all that they do, because everything else is going to be more transactional when it comes to finance and just the industry in general. But credit unions are created to be community minded, to be relationship based, and to build on that is just incredible. And just what a legacy that credit unions have to be able to differentiate themselves from everything else. And this is even though things are kind of crazy right now in the economy, this is a great time. You can be taking more market share because of just who you are. The democratization of finances, credit unions, one member, one vote. Everywhere else, it's, well, if you have more money, more shares, you can have more of the vote. It's great. This is what this new younger generation beyond the millennials to the Gen Z are looking for. They want trust. They want value. This is what credit unions bring to the table.
Well, yeah, and I appreciate that, and I, in our, chatting before that we hopped on the podcast, you kind of shared, one thing that jumped out to me, and I made note of it, and I'm gonna kind of look at my notes. So bear with me 1 second. But you said that you love credit unions because for credit unions, each person, each member matters, right?
Yes.
And someone who loves credit unions, I often think about the families that we serve, and I think about how can we focus on ensuring that every family has an opportunity to own their first home, right? It's a special experience. But you broke it down even more, and I think that's what resonated with me, is that it's not just about the families; it's about the individual. And it prompted me to think back to all those times where I will look at a member's account, and typically when you work for a credit union, you help someone out obtain a mortgage, you can go into the core system and see their pretty much relationship with the organization, right? But then you see their family tree, right? And it's like, little Johnny, little Susie, they have accounts with us, and it's like, okay, well, it's we have the ability to impact them, not just the people, not just the parents or the grandparents or whomever, and they matter, right? The financial stability of little Johnny, little Susie as they grow up means the world to a credit union, right? And I'll be honest, I don't think in my time, we'll say in other lending type of institutions, we'll say non-credit union type institutions, I don't think I felt that way. I really don't. No,
I completely agree. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So Lee, I'm coming to you. Why do you love credit unions?
Goodness, it goes way back when, right? When I started in the credit union world, with WEOKIE now, like I said, I've been in this space for 30 years, and, first time being exposed to what is a credit union. It just opens my mind to so many different things that, you go on with your businesses every day. But if you look at the roots of the credit union, why we exist and why we're here today, it's for the people. It's our members. It's the makeup of the families that we served. The heart of the credit union is what do we bring to our community the human spirit, the philosophy of people helping people. I just love it so much, to be out there in the community, to be able to advocate for them, to hear their voices, and just to recognize, hey, we're here. We're all here as a family. What can I do for you? The education pieces of that to me is very important. I'm so passionate about being the resource and bringing what they don't have exposure to. We can provide that as a foundation to offer stability, to offer opportunities, to open doors to homeownership and other financial services. I educate my kids today too, the differences between credit union and other institutions, what it takes for us to pull together and why we're here today. Is really to build that foundation for the younger generation, right? For the generations to come. Just like you said, if we look into their core account, we see families. It's not just a number anymore. We see families. And as we look at their history, we see what struggles they have gone through. And so for me, when I look at those situations, I'm looking at opportunities ahead of that, just to see, okay, so this is what our members are telling us today. What else can we do better? What else can we bring to them to really just provide or fill in that gap, to provide that opportunity that is not there today? So that's kind of where I'm, my head as an underwriter and dealing with sales and, businesses overall in the mortgage department. We see a lot of things every day. So for me, the passion is where we are to help our people in the communities. What are we doing every day that could impact the next generation? So hearing a lot of stories, it really brings back to how I started. My family really migrated here back in 1979. So for Dad, I think we were allotted $500 to spend on food and clothing for the 3 girls and the 3 boys. I have a family of 10 siblings, but the other 4 travel ahead of time. So the 4 of us that are younger than 18, Mom and Dad had to really look at, okay, $500, what are we doing with this for these 6 kids? And back in the 80s, you can probably buy food and groceries for that. But today, that is not, that is barely
absolutely not
1 week, even for a family of 6 kids. That's tough.
One trip at Costco, you've already surpassed that, hands down. It's tough. I mean, it's
tough.
It's tough.
It's tough. Yeah. So I go back to that period of time, and the families today, if I were to look at it in that perspective of how we came about and having kids and the struggles, sometimes needs come up. It's unexpected. And so credit union's always been there for our members. I feel like, we look at not just a number, we look at history. We look at the heart. It's the heart of the human spirit. What can we bring? What can we do? Well, how can we serve our members? So those are things that I resonate back to is communities, people, and our passion of why we're here. And this year has been something that, for me, going back to basic 101. Before COVID, everything was business, business, business. Now we're looking at, in our slow time, we have now going back to the basic 101. What have we not been doing and what could we do better? That's kind of where I'm at in this stage of my journey. It's affordable housing. It's blown me away. When I was asked to share another story, and I didn't want Tim to really just share his jacket for all the tears in the room.
Well, before we get to that second part, because that's something else I want to talk to you about, is because I know the two of you have a passion for affordable housing, and really that's the second question. Is we talked about why you love credit unions, right? And Chris, I saw that you leaned in, so I'm going to come to you in a second. I know you guys have a passion for credit unions, and you guys have, but you also have a passion for affordable housing. So I want to get to that, but Krista, please.
Sure. Thank you, Peter. So Lee, I think when I was talking to you at annual, so I remember talking about the legacy of a credit union and the legacy of the families. So in my first life, I call it, I worked for a different credit union association, and we are all about serving our members, right? As an association, as credit unions are about serving your members in the financial industry. But Marv Cottam, who started WEOKIE, he was a really wonderful man who I worked with back in the early 2000s. So when you were just talking about WEOKIE and your credit union philosophy, it just brought me like absolutely back to Marv and how he started that credit union and he grew the legacy for WEOKIE, and then you guys are carrying it on for him. So it just made me sentimental, and he was fantastic. And I know his daughter Cindy is also very involved, but I just wanted to mention that because it's part of the credit union legacy.
Yes, and I would agree with you. Marv was the founder of this WEOKIE, and so I have high respect for Marv. I've learned so much from him, but like you said, going back, if you look at the history of credit union, he is a true pioneer. I couldn't speak anymore. I think a lot of us that have known in this industry, his desk is still in our building. Yes. So I fought for that to stay because that is a reminder of why we're here.
Absolutely. That is amazing.
Phenomenal. Yes. Phenomenal.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So again, Lee, Tim, thank you very much for sharing, why you love credit unions. And Lee, I especially love how you tied it back to a personal story from your perspective. And I also like how I appreciate that you brought it full circle and pretty much said, and really asked the question, and you almost to the point where you're asking yourself this, how can I ensure that I am helping the families that I serve navigate tough times, right? And that is so vital and such an important piece to the mission of any credit union out there, right? It's community minded. We're focused on we're people helping people, right? And we remember that, that's on T-shirts and signs pretty much at every credit union that you go to. We are people helping people. And so, as people helping people, and as credit unions look to continue to support the communities that they serve and help put families in home, one of the biggest obstacles that we face as an industry, and whether you look at it from a mortgage aspect or credit unions as a whole, and I really want to lean in on the credit union part of it. Affordable housing is almost to the point of pandemic levels. And I'm going to call it, actually, I'm going to go, well, I don't want to say that affordable housing is a pandemic all in itself, right? But the two of you have done an excellent job of almost cracking the code on that affordable housing, right? Now, Tim, Neighborhood Housing Services of Oklahoma, that's a CDFI, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, WEOKIE Federal Credit Union is a credit union, right? So I mean it's in the name, so it's kind of sort of obvious. But you two have partnered, right? You two really understand the importance of this type of partnership to tackle affordable housing. Now, not every credit union can have an opportunity to partner with a CDFI. I understand and respect that. What I really want to focus on is get your perspectives of how, I guess it's whether we frame it up on how or why they should, it doesn't really matter. Okay. But how should or why should credit unions really start leaning in on this affordable housing issue? Lee, I'm going to start with you. If you could just give me your take on why or how a credit union can tackle this affordable housing issue, please. Lee, you start.
I would, for me, just get involved. The experiences that you share with the members or the people in the community is so rewarding once you see the challenges and what we're able to give back, I would say. You know, at the conference, we talk about joy, how people are impacted, just a relationship of kindness and determination and commitment, what joy can do to us, right? So I'm looking at people in our community that don't have this opportunity or even know the resources. The how is really just come back to your why of why you want to, what is it that we're looking at solving? So how, you know, for me, having been involved with neighborhood housing services for almost 5 years now and having the opportunity to travel to different communities and listen to different executive directors of different organizations, they all have the same goal, is to be able to provide opportunities for safe and affordable housing. And so looking at that relationship, I felt like, you know, we have a lot of resources here as a credit union, but home buying education piece of that and the resources that organizations like NHS could bring as a partnership with credit union is so valuable. It's valuable in a way that the staffing for one, credit unions, we don't have a lot of staff to accommodate home buying education classes.
No, we don't. No, it's always a struggle with credit unions, right?
It's always a struggle. And so I took that as, you know, so how do we tie the two relationship? How do we make this connection to bring that to our member and say, hey, here's additional resources or people that can help too. You know, why don't we talk about it, sit down, and they can do the one-on-one and go through personal finances with individuals, whereas our staff here doesn't have that during the 8-hour period, but we do have resources here that are offered by an organization like NHS, and it's just an easy sit down, have a conversation and get that started. But to me, the benefit of that, you know, and could I share a story in this?
By all means. And real quick, I love where you're going with the financial education, because that was a common theme at Annual. That's been a common theme on podcasts that we recorded, you know, throughout the course of this year. I love that you're addressing that, you know, through this relationship. It's something that's missing almost in our society, as weird as it sounds. And we keep bringing it up, and it sounds like you guys have figured it out. So please share your story.
Yeah. So, you know, home buying education is so important for me. When I bought my home 20 years ago, I didn't have all these resources available. We didn't have technology like we do today, but we didn't also have the knowledge that there are people out there. I mean, NHS has been around for 40 plus years, right, Tim? And for what I'm hearing just within the community and outside of the state, not a lot of people know that the organizations exist. So having, you know, that knowledge, and I can share that and relate that to members and people that I see every day, I feel like I'm bringing something to them that could impact their lives, maybe not today, but tomorrow, or their kids, you know, or the next generation. So, you know, going back 20 years ago, like I said, I don't have these resources, but knowing what I know today, I'm going to continue down the road of advocating and be the voice for the people that don't have these access. Some of the stories that come out of these home buying classes are, I just don't have words for them anymore. But I know just going through our strategic planning classes just recently, we, you know, some of the people that attended classes, we don't often look back at, okay, where are they today, right? We know we try to get the message across. We are hoping that what we do today bring them value, but we don't look at the impact of post closing or the impact of, you know, after the class, where are they today? So, you know, some of the stories that came up, one of them that really it's just an eye-opening experience for me was NHS hold their classes twice a month in person, Saturday, 8-hour a day. And I have participated as an attendee. and I have participated as an instructor of a class. And, one of the attendee of the class, I found out later that he was homeless. And can you imagine being in that position at that time? What was he thinking? Why was he there? Now, I don't know anything about his background other than after 2 years of commitment, determination, he completed, and now he's now a successful homeowner. So the value of what organization like NHS is doing, the one-on-one counseling with him, and he attended most of their classes on Saturdays. And it's just a story to me. It's like determination and kindness that we're able to share with one another to get him to a point of where he is today is profound. It's amazing to me, so partnership on the how is just getting involved and getting to know your community, who they are, and what resources you can share and come together just to make it happen, make a difference. It may not impact one person, it may not impact the whole community today, but it could one at a time.
Right. It's I don't know where to go with this because that's such a powerful story, right? And it's very rare that I'm speechless. But I think it goes back to, and Tim, I'm going to start, pulling you in. It goes back to the things that, as credit unions, things that we can do. And it's also a reminder of the things that we need to do, right? It's just out of curiosity, that person that you described, did they get a loan through? Did they come to you for help?
Through the CD, I found out the down payment assistance and things that he was able to secure that loan. It was through the grant, through the CD.
That's awesome.
Yes, it's so awesome because that's a long journey, 2 years of commitment on the one-on-one counseling, and the time that he was willing to give and put in, and determination, and with NHS stepping up without regards or judgment, they were there. Just like what we do in the credit union world is we're there for our members, we're there for our people. So it is a reminder of who we are and why we do what we do every day.
Well, I think that that's another good example of why credit unions are special. I can't think of another lending institution, or type of lending institution, whether it's through the relationship with Neighborhood Housing Services of Oklahoma and WEOKIE. I can't think of any organization that would dedicate 2 years to ensuring that one person, just one person, was able to buy their first house. And I think that's awesome, right? Because I think a good example of why credit unions are so special, because we'll do that. Credit unions will do that, right? So Tim, I'm going to pull you in. So Tim, again, Lee talked about your relation, the great relationship that WEOKIE has with NHS of Oklahoma. But again, from your perspective, what can credit unions do, or how should they, or again, we can approach this in many different ways. How and why, or should they kind of approach this affordable housing pandemic? I mean, just give me your insights into this.
Absolutely. So going back to my first point of what's great about credit unions is that the relationship building, and Lee touched on that, is that you're dealing with individuals, you're dealing with members. Don't get caught up into, I wish rates would go down, or the projections. Deal with what you have now. Here at NHS, we're a member of a national organization, NeighborWorks America, and so with that, we have been trained and certified every year for HUD certification for home buyer education, HUD certification for credit counseling. Even for our organization, we're HUD certified for foreclosure prevention. So we can bring the added services the credit union, may not be able to provide, but the synergy that is there. Get creative. It doesn't. Now, Lee and I just a month ago talked about how to self-fund a down payment assistance, it doesn't even have to be that. It is having the discussions and getting back to the core issue is also financial literacy. Where are they going to get it? From the internet? From their broke brother-in-law that doesn't own a home? That's where they're getting their information from. They should be getting it from the credit unions. And now I understand that for a lot of credit unions in the mortgage spot, because I had been there myself too, is that getting out and calling on realtors, because it's purchase right now. You're not going to get the refi business that you once had. It's purchase business. How do you do that? You may be a little reticent about getting out and calling on realtors. Well, have them come to you with either something for their own CE credit, for what they need to get, for home buyer education, and then also have it for your members and for the community. And now you have, hey, I have so-and-so that's pre-qualified. Let me give you a referral. And you build the business from there. You stack this up. There are so many different ways, and there are many organizations like us that, whether they're a part of NeighborWorks America or not, that are in affordable housing, that you can come together and just the synergy and what our mission and your mission match up. And I'm not a depository institution. I'm not taking your members away. I'm enhancing, and that's what it is. It's looking for that added value that is necessary. It would be great to see rates drop and make things more affordable. What can we do now? What about for those credit unions that have commercial departments? Can you be building more homes? Because that adds to availability, and working with your residential lending side, the real estate side, combining with the commercial and creating your internal synergy. There are so many things. We need to just have the conversation. But you can get creative without costing a lot of money. A lot of this is we can do on our own, working together with credit unions. To me, it's what needs to be done, because if you don't do it now, you're going to lose a generation, and you lose that generation.
And by the way, we're already losing a generation.
Yeah, so this is the way to get it back, because a lot of lenders are pulling back. This is the time to step forward. Don't be crazy. We're not talking about being completely risk oriented, but you can take measured steps in this to gain market share. Because if you completely lose a generation, then you're not just talking about homes, because homes are the basic foundation of the economy. Because if you don't have safe, affordable homes, then what about the workers? What about the schools? What about everything goes downhill? So your audience today should be proud of themselves. You're in the basic foundation of this economy, and you have a purpose now that is long-term. So if you plan it now, you do it now, you can change the long-term effects. And so when the days become more sunny and bright and the rainbows come back out again and rates are, at least a 5%, maybe, things are going to be great. But right now
give me 6, Tim. Just give me 6.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. Let's shoot for it. But whatever it may be, you can deal with that reality. This is where reality is. What are you doing to change this? You have the availability. Don't be waiting for better days to come, because once you do, somebody else has those members. Because you are in a transaction that most people know that a month ago you had a Miss Dawson on who was talking about how fearful people are. Mm-hmm. It's not about numbers. Again, it's about the relationship, because it is about the emotion that people go through. This is the biggest investment they've ever made. Credit unions are built for this. And if they combine with people like us, like NHS, or the synergy of hand-holding and coming alongside as an advisor will beat down anything else that's out there, because the techs don't have it. The big banks don't have it and don't want to, because you're just a transaction. You're talking about a relationship, and then you build upon that relationship. And I know we're the mortgage division here, but I mean, then they're going to get their car loan. They're going to bring their savings in. You can have conversations about the retirement, about kids' college. You have their finances in hand. And that's, again, with having been sitting in that lending seat and as a manager as well over mortgages, you need to be the controlling interest. And nothing against the real estate community, but they're the transaction. They do the transaction. They get the financing through you, but then, it was the realtor that called all the shots. Why? Right. The credit union is going to have them, maybe not the full 30 years, but 6, 7, 8 years is the average of holding on to that. You're going to have a relationship with them. Build that relationship. Be the center of influence.
So yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, and thank you very much for listening to Wendy Dawson's podcast we put out just about a month ago. One of the things that she said, and it sounds like you are 100% in agreement with it, is that we need to double down on this, right? Double down on first-time home buyers, affordable housing. We just have to do it, and we have to look inward, right? That seems to be what you're echoing from her message, which I appreciate. Is that look inside, right? Look at the communities that you already serve. You don't necessarily have to go out there and find new communities. You already are in look in your backyard, basically. There's tons of people that need your help, and you can easily do it. Is that what I'm getting at? Did I understand you right, Tim?
Spot on. I mean, and on top of it all, there are many in the underserved and marginalized communities that are either what they call underbanked or non-banked. And you can build your name, your brand, who you are, your mortgage business off of that by being a servant, serving them.
Right.
Yeah. And fear is probably one of the factors we've noticed too. Some people are so comfortable with hanging on to different debts that they have just because they're comfortable with the company always being there for them.
Right.
And encouraging them to move away from that. That was an experience I hadn't had before, a conversation I hadn't had before, little bitty loans, signature loans, just because they're comfortable with our company, they decided they want to keep it open rather than if you're doing consolidation, usually you consolidate everything, right? But it's, again, that relationship. And may I add to what Tim is talking about?
So I'm going to ask if you could briefly do it. Justin's already going to kill me because we're going to go way over time. So if you could briefly do it, please.
Okay, so, a few things that I noticed for credit union to get involved is commercial lending. A lot of the organizations such as NHS are in the market to, looking at developing builders that are in the underserved market. And they're looking for lenders that are able to offer a line of credit for these new group that they have developed through their program. So, other things that they talked about, loan participation, DPA, down payment assistance program may not, it really, depending on where you are, it can be created as a loan participation also with a CUSO. We're currently working with a CUSO, spreading this word on this down payment assistance. How can we go further? So there is a CUSO out there working with us right now to advance this or expand this program to other credit unions to make it available. So that's another thing, is have a talk with your CUSO. That revitalizing the neighborhood is something that if you haven't paid attention to the city you live in or the community you live in, do that. Just take a drive one day and you'll see why you want to do what you want to do. That's kind of how it resonated with me. And, reaching out to Tim to have this partnership was so meaningful, is to see the work that they've done in our community here in Oklahoma. In other states, I've seen the organization like NHS, but they are able to accomplish as well. I mean, you're talking about a neighborhood, bringing it from, drug invaded neighborhood to where you have a safe housing for families to live in. That's revitalization that, it's an eye-opening experience to be able to experience and see that as you go through your communities. So that's what brought me to them and continue to work with them and hear of other organizations stepping up to try and open doors, but they do need credit unions' help to have that relationship, to have that access, that door open for them to that line of credit or whatever it is.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you very much. Now we need to pivot. Before I do, I guess the last question I have is what motivates the two of you to kind of keep going, right? The podcast has really been started with the idea of, well, let's figure out what makes people tick. What's the passion and fuel that keeps them going to continue to make that difference? So just real quick, what keeps motivating you? What keeps fueling you? If you could just quickly describe it. Tim, we'll start with you.
Okay. Well, that's because of my core value. I'm a person of faith. So as a follower of Christ, I follow his servant leadership. Because if you're not serving others, you can't lead others. And that's the ultimate, is servant leadership.
Well, thank you very much, Lee. You?
I agree 100%. Servant leadership, that's like the core of what we do as credit union leaders. And as a member myself, I look to credit unions for that servant stewardship of credit unions. I think it's so important for us to recognize that. That's why we're here, is for our people.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, well, it's time to pivot. Now, I know we probably keep talking about this for really another 40 minutes. But again, Justin would kill me. He would. I mean, if it means anything, I said I was doing my best to keep this to 40 minutes. We talked for 40 minutes, so that's a win. That is a win. I'm a man of my word. But we still have to do the second segment of our podcast. And again, the second segment is where we do, trivia, fun facts, dad jokes. Today we're doing Jeopardy. Now, here we are, November 8th. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. So we're going to do a little Thanksgiving Jeopardy. I'm going to ask Krista to come on back in. That way she can play trivia with us. Or not trivia, sorry, Jeopardy with us. Now, bear with me 1 second. Well, again, I kind of walk everyone through Jeopardy. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I know this is a podcast, so people can't see the screen that I'm sharing. But, Lee, Tim, Krista, you guys should see, in theory, a Jeopardy board. Again, this is Thanksgiving Jeopardy. We have my Zoom is kind of blocking part of it. We have 5 categories, all ranging from a score of 100 to 500. The categories are turkeys, history, the big meal, the Macy's parade, and just random things, miscellaneous things from Thanksgiving. Okay. So again, standard issue Jeopardy board. For the sake of this, a couple things. Lee, you are team 1. Tim, you are team 2. And Krista, you are team 3. Now, you don't have to answer who is, what is, all that stuff, just for the sake of time. Just if you know the answer, fantastic. Okay, sound good? Any questions before we get started? Again, I'm sure you guys have all, at some point in time, you've watched Jeopardy at least once, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Just
good.
so you guys know, too, Peter's super mean. So if you answer somebody else's question and you get it wrong, he deducts that from your points, too.
Sure,
so unless you know the answer, don't fall into his trap.
Yeah, don't steal.
Okay.
Well, that's right.
Chris, are you still bitter from Miss Dawson's?
She sure is.
I am. I totally
my
am, Tim.
goodness. That was a month ago. Come on.
I
Exactly.
know, but I'm still, I hold a grudge.
Seriously. Tim, you have no idea how bad she holds a grudge. We could talk about that's a completely separate episode of the On Point podcast.
It totally is. It totally is.
What makes Krista tick?
Yeah. Don't get me
right.
started. Don't get me started, Lee. All right. Anyways. All right. So, Lee, you are up first. Now, I will say this, a little hint. Everyone always goes 500. Everyone always starts with 500. We have found that the 500 questions actually are really hard. So it might be to your advantage to start with a lower number. And that's just a quick tip. You don't have to follow it. No one ever listens to me anyways, but by all means, Lee, please.
Okay, we'll start with turkey 100.
I love it. Turkeys for 100. The question is, this is a sound a male turkey makes. You don't have to make the sound, even though it would be even better if you did.
Even know what sound they would make.
Well, just give it a shot. Just give it a shot.
Oh my goodness.
You don't have to make the sound. But what is it called? What is it called?
What do they call? Where's my phone? Maybe I'm
just guess.
know.
Guess for us. No, you don't know, okay?
No, I'll give it up.
I have to deduct points. Does anyone want to steal?
I'll steal.
Tim? Okay. All right, very good.
Gobble.
A gobble. Let's see. That is an answer. Let's see. The question answer is, what is gobble gobble? I'm going to give it to you. What is gobble gobble? All right. So Tim, you're up 100. Very good. All right, Tim, it's your board, please.
Oh, I'm not taking your advice. I'm going history for 500.
History for 500. I love it. History for 500. The Mayflower held approximately this many pilgrims.
I think it was 60.
Right, we're going to go with 60. The correct answer is, what is 100? Sorry, Tim, I have to deduct points. Krista, I was going to assume that you did not want to steal that.
No, thank you. Although I did have 100 in my head for some reason.
You went back to like that elementary school knowledge that you have. I
did.
Okay.
It was in there somewhere.
Okay, Krista, your question.
I'm going to do the big meal for 300.
Look at you going like middle of the road. I'm proud of you. Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. All right, the big meal for 300. Many Southern Americans serve this cheesy side dish with their Thanksgiving meal. I'm going to go ahead and deduct your points right now.
No, I'm going to say grits. Cheesy grits.
Cheesy grits. What is macaroni and cheese? What is...
Fine. That's not a Southern thing. I don't like Jeopardy anymore.
All right, Lee, back to you.
Okay, let's go with the big meal for 500. I'll take a risk.
Big meal, 500. Approximately this percentage of American Thanksgiving meals includes turkey. And the percentage should just be in tens.
Say 100%.
100%. So you're saying 100% of American Thanksgiving meals include turkey. Correct answer is, what is 90%? Sorry, Lee.
Second guess. That was second guess.
Those are second guess. I don't know why. When I saw that question, I was like, there's no way it's 100%. No way. I wasn't going to say 90. I think I was going to say like 70%. But we'll come back. Tim, you're bored.
Oh, let's do history for 300.
History for 300. I like it, middle of the road. This tribe of Native Americans were invited to the first Thanksgiving feast.
Wampanoag.
Wampanoag. And the answer is, what are the Wampanoag? Congratulations, Tim. Yep, back on up. All right, so just to recap for everyone listening, Tim is currently in the lead with negative 100. Krista is in second place with negative 300, even though she only had one question so far. And Lee, I'm sorry, Lee, you're in last place with negative 600. All right, Krista, it is your board.
Let's do turkeys for 300.
Turkeys for 300. Turkey, 300. People from this Western state are the largest consumers of turkey in the United States. My mouse is on the negative.
I want to steal.
Okay. I don't know I can't figure out how we steal. I don't know. Go ahead, please.
I'm going to say Montana.
Okay. Tim, what is your answer just in case?
California.
California. You're going to go with California because it's big, right? It's a big state. We'll go with that. Okay. Lee, do you want to chime in?
Huh.
That would be no.
All right. So the correct answer is, what is California?
Okay, Lee, we're never playing Jeopardy with Tim again.
No, I think
Right.
I think they shared secrets before this.
It's all
All
just historical knowledge. He must have been a history major, Tim.
I was useless knowledge, but yes, all right.
All right. So at the end of 2 full rounds, we have Lee in the lead. Sorry, Lee and Krista tied for last place with a negative 600, and Tim in first place with a whopping 200.
Okay, I'm good with being done then, Peter. I think we should be done.
Well, for the sake of time, I don't know if I can go any further or any longer.
Lee and I'll gracefully bow out. Tim, you won. Good job.
Yes.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna ask you 2 more questions, and everyone's gonna chime in.
Okay.
Everyone's gonna chime in. The only way that mathematically, Krista and Lee, you can win is if they're both 500s. Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for
So
it.
again, I'm gonna start with. So I'm gonna do. Let's do miscellaneous because no one touched miscellaneous. So the miscellaneous question. Again, we're all gonna chime in, or you 3 are gonna chime in. In Canada, and Krista, you live in Canada, so you should know this.
Close
In
to
Canada, Thanksgiving is celebrated during this month.
October.
I'm saying what Tim says, but
Okay. Are you sure? Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
All right.
Yeah,
So
final answer.
So the correct answer is, what is October?
thank you, Tim.
All right. So everyone gets 100. Now, it's Lee and Krista, you're still tied with negative 100.
That's all right.
Tim,
It's
you're
better
in the
than
lead at
negative
700.
3,000.
This is true. Let's see if we can get Lee and Krista into a positive place. Let's do Macy's Parade for 500. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade began in this decade. That's
1920s.
I would say 50s, but I go with whatever Tim says.
no, stick with 50s. Stick with 50s.
All right.
Say 70s.
70s. The correct answer is, what is the 1920s?
That is so not fair. This is so not fair.
Oh, sorry, I meant to subtract. Let's subtract.
All right. Well, we're back to where we were, Lee. So can we be done now, Peter?
We can be done now.
Okay,
All
thanks.
right. Tim, congratulations.
Tim still wins.
You officially have the highest score of On Point Jeopardy ever recorded in the history of the On Point podcast. Congratulations. You are the winner.
I want to thank all the little people. No.
That would be us,
You
right?
get a turkey in the mail.
That's right.
In the mail.
And the next time we do Jeopardy, we will be asking anybody who is on the podcast if they are a history major or not. And if they are, we won't be doing Jeopardy.
So the funny thing is,
yes.
so you
Right,
you
Lee?
didn't.
Yes, I agree.
You didn't know this, but like when I made the suggestion of either Oklahoma Jeopardy or Thanksgiving Jeopardy, Tim was very fast to say Thanksgiving Jeopardy. He must be like an expert on Thanksgiving history.
He must.
Because that's really the only thing that explains it. He's like, these suckers, it's going to be Thanksgiving Jeopardy. I know this. I think that I'm on to you, Tim. I am on to you, Tim.
We should be at Tim's house for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I'd go all out.
That's right. Well, anyways, we got to wrap up. Tim, Lee, thank you very much for taking time out of your schedules to be with us. Really enjoyed this episode. I appreciate all the insights that you have provided our listeners, but more importantly, thank you for doing what you do to kind of help with the whole, again, affordability pandemic. You know, again, your session at Annual resonated with a lot of our attendees, and I think this episode will do the same and kind of put some ideas in people's minds. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate and thank you for your passion for serving your community. Really it does mean a lot. And Krista, thank you very much for being on here and being such a graceful loser as always.
Thank you, Peter.
My pleasure.
I know you like it when I lose. That's okay.
That's good. And to wrap up, thank you very much to all of you for listening to today's podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. We know that your time is valuable, and it truly means a lot that you carve out some time to listen to our fun little podcast. And I guess to kind of just, again, continue to wrap up, be on the lookout for future ACUMA events. And really, until next time, see you later.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time at the ACUMA On Point podcast. If not already, be sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. For more great episodes and information, be sure to visit us online at acuma.org. And to get the latest updates, head over to our LinkedIn page.